You're welcome to this channel. I want to give a brief seminar today on why frauds persist in organizations. My name is Akinwale Akindia. I will be speaking on why frauds persist in organizations. We'll be looking at some elements of this topic. For example, I would like to briefly explain what fraud is, what's fraud. I will briefly look at the fraud triangle, what fraud triangle is all about, and I will also be looking at reasons fraud persist in organizations. All right. If you have not subscribed to this channel, kindly try and subscribe today so that you can get more educational videos from this channel. Now, so what is fraud? Right. For me, fraud is the use of deception to make a victim suffer financial loss. Basically, in legal times across the world, legal jurisdictions across the world, for a case of fraud to be established against an individual, three elements must be established. Number one, intention to defraud. Intention to defraud must be objectively established. So we must get a confirmation, we must get objective evidence that the fraudster actually intended to make the victim to suffer a loss. Number two, the victim must be established to have suffered a financial loss, and the fraudster must have had a financial gain as a result of the loss of the victim. These are the three elements or components of a fraud that must be established in the case in the court of law. All right, so having explained what fraud is, I want to look at the fraud triangle. Of course, we know a triangle is a shape with three sides. Now, for the fraud triangle, we have one of the sides being pressure, the second side being opportunity, the third side being rationalization. Now, pressure. Let's start with the first one, pressure. Pressure could be in form of so many uh, um, behaviors, or could be as a result of many factors in an organization or in an individual. Right? There are some people that put themselves under undue pressure. They may be under financial pressure, maybe debts, right? Or they love the good life too much. Okay, so they have some very expensive habits. They love to be in the most expensive clubs, right? They like to have the most expensive vacations, okay, around the world. So those kind of expensive lifestyle will actually put an employee under the pressure to commit fraud. Okay, you can also have pressure being imposed by the work environment. For example, somebody working in a bank and be given a deposit target of 3 billion naira, right, to go and source for you to be able to meet your financial targets. Okay, because of that pressure to meet the goals set by the bank, right? Some people actually break down and begin to look at fraudulent means of meeting that pressure, of meeting that target. See, and that is why organizations need to be very careful so that you don't create environments, all right? So you are going to work is like you are going to a pressurized cooker, all right? So people don't feel comfortable going to work, right? Because the environment is too hostile, the environment is too toxic, and so we are not all the same. People react in different ways to pressurized environment. Okay, so that's why board of directors, executive management, leadership of organizations need to be very careful about the kind of environment they create for the for the workers in their organizations. All right, number two, opportunity. All right, this is actually vulnerabilities within an organization. So when you create opportunity for people to commit fraud, with time, somebody will take advantage of that opportunity. All right. For example, you don't have internal controls, or the internal controls are weak. You don't have an internal audit function, either internal or no or outsourced in the organization. Okay, there's no reconciliation, there's no review, supervisory controls are weak. So once people, all right, are seeing these weaknesses. In fact, there are some people that are working, all they are just, as they are working, what they are looking for are loopholes in the organization. So if you don't have internal control executives, audit executives, either internal or external, that can discover these loopholes on time or vulnerabilities on time, somebody is going to exploit it. 100%, all right, of fraud cases all over the world, 100%, honestly, most of the time is because there is an opportunity. Even when people are under pressure, right? If somebody is highly under pressure to commit fraud, he has a debt to settle, he has a commitment to meet, all right? If there is no opportunity, forget it, it cannot happen. So that opportunity, all right, once the opportunities are there, frauds are going to persist in organizations. All right, then you have rationalization. So some people who commit fraud, their conscience cannot really take it. So they rationalize. Well, they're not treating me well, all right, they're not paying me well. My bonus was not paid, so I will take this in lieu of my bonus. So you see all this kind of, so it's just basically to make themselves feel at ease. All right. So you see some people committing online frauds and saying, well, at least the money that the forefathers of these guys took away from us, that is what we, the children, are not taking from their children, a form of rationalization. So basically, most people that commit frauds also rationalize, just to make themselves feel more comfortable with the harm they know they are doing to either other individuals or to uh, organizations. So this fraud triangle is very, very important: pressure, opportunity, and rationalization. Now let's look at why frauds persist. I've talked about some of them. All right. As long as people are under pressure, in the workplace, the salary is not enough, they're trying to make up, or the salary is enough, their eyes are on bigger things. All right. They want to roll with the big boys, right? Or like they say in Nigeria, I want to chill with the big boys. As long as those pressure, either real, imagined, or assumed, as long as those pressures are there, you always have frauds in organizations. And I've talked about vulnerabilities also. As long as organizations create opportunities for, for frauds, people will always be there to maximize or take advantage of those opportunities. All right. Then, fraud also passes because top management of the organizations, a lot of time, what they call management fraud, right? Management fraud do occur. You see many organizations collapsing because of frauds and irregularities at the very top. So you have executive directors, sometimes non-executive directors also being involved. So all these corporate governance failures, all right, to actually ensure that frauds will continue to persist. I'm sure you will have heard of basically the fact that directors are deemed to be agents of the principal. So they call it the agency theory. So the owners are the principals, all right, or the shareholders are the principals of the business, whereas the directors are the agents of the principals, all right. But because there will always be that, that self-preservation, self-centeredness, all right, which is very, very, you know, very, very common in, in human behavior. You always see that temptation from the executive to take advantage uh, of their positions, which might lead to insider abuse. All right. So as long as that challenge is there, that agency problem, you always have fraud. All right. I've talked about pressure. I've talked about vulnerabilities, opportunities, weaknesses within the organization. Then again, the weak or lack of consequences. A lot of times, frauds are not punished the way they should be. All right. A lot of organizations that were defrauded don't want to talk about it. All right, for image, reputational purpose, and the rest. So they just want to just absorb the loss. They don't want court cases. They don't want their names, right, in any affidavit, in any court register. All right. So because of that, it encourages fraudulent activities to continue, across organizations all over the world. Okay, of course, there are more reasons for frauds than this. For example, you have collusion. Right? Collusion is when people agree within themselves in an organizations that they want uh, to commit frauds. Right? So because of if the people collude, and this will continue to happen. So you have the maker and the checker agreeing within themselves, all right, that they are going to override controls. What are you going to do about that? We all know when there's pollution, there's no control that can actually, stop such from happening unless maybe you have did things like rotation of employees and the rest, so that you don't allow people to stay together for too long. That is one way that some organizations control that. So I'm going to basically round up now. I'll be talking more on fraud prevention and fraud detection in subsequent videos. Thank you.